us?
Can everyone hear?
Yes, but we
Okay,
can't see you.
Yes, okay, great.
Great. I want all.
We
the
can't
meeting-
see you though. Okay, there we go.
Right, give us 1 second. All right,
Take it away. All right.
okay.
Good evening. This is the meeting of the Bylaws Committee, and we will be discussing several proposals and give out some information that we have found and find very useful to what we want to address tonight. I'm Sandy Engel, I'm the chair,
I'm Joanne Rubino, co-chair.
And Gillick, one of the members.
and he's on the committee. And then we have Rich sitting and Pat who are observing, and Cynthia.
And it's December 10th.
It's
And
December 10th, I'm sorry.
What? 7:51.
7:51. I will read the conduct statement. Community Board 11 meetings must be held in a professional and hostile-free environment. The following rules of conduct are applicable to members of the public, Community Board 11 and Community Board 11 staff. Any action or behavior that disrupts or interferes with Community Board 11 business will not be tolerated during any community board meeting and may result in the individuals being asked to leave. If the action or behavior continues, this may be considered disturbing the peace and the appropriate authorities may be summoned. If the meeting is held remotely, the person may be muted or expelled for the remainder. All public speakers must address the full board or the committee with their concerns. Electioneering for a position other than an officer of Community Board 11 is prohibited. Engaging in acts of violence, including threats, are grounds for immediate suspension of the right to attend meetings pending review by the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee. Respect the equality, diversity, and privacy of all persons by respecting and valuing differences of culture and opinion. Refrain from unpleasant or disparaging remarks and other actions. Abstain from all forms of harassment by actively discouraging it. Disseminating false information is prohibited. Before we begin the meeting, I just want to thank Joanne, Ken, and Rich, Ryan, because they each gave me a lot of input. We were working on some ideas even before tonight's meeting. And I also want to thank Sierra Cannon from the Borough President's Office, who sent us some very important information, which we will be using tonight.
Probably in item 7, because they're not, what we spoke about with
Right.
Tiara is not in A and B, but probably we're gonna, when we get
With
to.
other suggestions and
and
tweaks.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
one of the bylaws proposals is that every fiscal year, committee members shall vote each year to elect or re-elect the chair of their respective committees, excluding leadership during the committee's September or October meeting. In the absence of such a vote, the chair of the board must select the chair of the committee by November 30th. Personally, I think that should have been done before November 30th because we need a chair for these committees when we begin.
Right. Well, maybe we can,
So somehow,
maybe it could be October,
maybe change it
Yeah,
to
to
October.
because, yeah,
because the November, it's too long.
Right.
And then everyone is gonna pass the buck.
Or maybe November 1st.
Well,
Okay.
You know,
All right.
that way it gives a little time in October, because, there's always like the new members.
we'll give you the day, Cynthia.
All right,
All
all
right,
right,
so we're
November
gonna-
1st.
So we're going to change that to, November 1st.
Right. Does anyone, Ken, do you have anything to say? I don't have a problem with it either, so.
No, I think it's a good
To
idea.
make a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion that we pass that bylaws proposal
Uh-huh.
and it be put in the bylaws. And to change any other wording that may be, there in the bylaws.
The only one little problem with
What's that?
We're bad.
we're only gonna have 2 meetings. Because we don't meet in July and August.
Right.
Right.
Correct.
We do have September and possibly October to do this.
Well, that's probably, for Cynthia to pick, she sees that nothing's happening.
Yeah.
That she can do that pretty quickly.
No,
you
she
know.
can do that, but the point is that the committee can't, the committee won't have a chance to do it. That's why I think November 30th is because there'll be 3 meetings.
September, October, and November.
Remember,
That makes sense.
Okay.
that's why
Keep
that's why we put it on November 30th. Because you have, otherwise you're gonna have, the first meeting, you're gonna have, everybody's gonna be, maybe we're gonna get to meet each other. Half the people are not gonna show up for one of the meetings.
Yeah.
And then the second time,
Second time,
it'll be obvious like that there's no chair and no
Right.
co-chair.
excuse me.
So, okay, then you want to keep it in November
Okay.
30th. All
No,
right.
good point,
You got
Ken.
it.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's why we
Okay,
need
very
the
good.
input.
Yes,
Okay.
that's exactly right.
All right, and the second bylaw proposal.
Wait, we made a motion
Oh, we made a motion to keep this proposal as is stated.
as is stated with November 30th.
Period.
So
Anyone
I'll
seconded?
second.
Ken, and you of course will second it because you,
Well, you can take a second. I'll take my second.
I don't care.
okay.
And any discussion, because we discussed it kind of.
No, I think that's almost,
So we've accepted that. So then we have B.
Articles
Article
4,
4.
Section 6, vacancies. And that is the election procedure shall be the same as set forth in Section 3 of this article, except that nominations, elections, and securing of one's name on the ballot
May
may be,
be performed
Form.
at the same meeting. B was supposed to be, okay.
right.
Okay, and Ken, do you have any issue with that at all?
Nothing at all.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough.
All right, so go ahead and make a proposal.
Okay, I make a motion to accept, the second, bylaws proposal, Article 4, Section 6 regarding vacancies. Do I have a second?
Ken
Oh,
second.
Ken, second, okay.
So motion passed.
Motion passed unanimously. Okay, okay, so then, all right. The next one
All right.
is combining of committees.
Right, now,
That's just gonna be a discussion.
many people have said that they would love to see combining of committees, and then there are those who say we shouldn't. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say because sometimes the subject matter is divergent and it could be, sitting here with the health and we have nothing to do with, say, sanitation, and we're sitting here like, whatever, and it could be a very long meeting. So, the subject matter should be very close.
So something like, and we've discussed this in the past as well, is something like, let's say, a municipal services committee, where we have similar topics. You've
What
got
would you-
sanitation, let's say sanitation, transportation,
Okay.
and maybe either parks or public safety. Those are all sort of municipal services that are important in the community that just are not being addressed
Yeah.
more broadly.
So you were saying you would put all 4 of them in,
Into one not necessarily all 4 of them.
yeah,
I don't have all the answers.
Municipal,
But it doesn't
one
want
is
to.
right.
like 2 and 2, something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 and 2. because
Yeah.
I have a feeling if we were to combine 4 municipal services,
Oh, it'd be an all night.
it would be chaotic at
I know,
times.
especially
And I
more
think
things
a
that are
big
going on.
conflict of
I was
personality.
saying, I believe it's Community Board 12
Yeah,
has combined all their committees down to 3 for a similar
Wow.
reason.
really?
And then you have, I think it's, CB7 is also having similar issues as ours that are also starting to look at combining committees.
See, I almost think that ours health and then social
Yeah,
service,
well, we're combined.
where, it's, to me, it's like combined, but, you know,
Yeah.
but it was ever a no-brainer.
Right,
Yeah.
and I think, you know
When
what?
we did youth and education, we did combine that. That would used to be
You-
separate.
Right,
Right.
That used to be separate.
Yeah.
But to me, it has to be addressed, I think, by the 2 committees that we think should be combined. Would they have to make the
And
decision?
they have
I,
to agree.
you know what? Here's the issue though.
they're not meeting.
They're not meeting. So we're leaving something up to committees that aren't meeting.
Are they not meeting because they have nothing to meet about?
No agenda?
No.
No, no agenda.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry, we have, winter is coming, you know, we have to worry about, and this is, I know Wendy's online. Wendy just, you know, inherited sanitation. But prior to that, it's like, what have we been meeting on? And what have we been discussing? I know that, you know, everyone's got issues in terms of sanitation. It's not just the sanitation committee, it's sanitation and our environment. So,
Yeah.
you know, we all live. in
Environmental-
this-
Environmental committee.
You know what I mean?
That is
So
already one.
Hmm?
What? That is actually sanitation.
sanitation and
And environmental,
environment,
yeah.
right.
It's already a committee. It's already.
So-
But they're not,
When you
but
say-
either part
When
of
you
it is
say,
saying-
can I talk? Or no, I'm not allowed.
Yeah,
No,
you
no,
can.
no. When you say,
Well, we're
they're
the
not
most
meeting.
vulnerable.
because either there's no quorum or there is no agenda, what happens if you combine, let's just say, a sanitation and a transportation? And let's just say transportation is not meeting. Who's doing all the work then? Sanitation?
Well, that's the thing is that we're looking at it from a perspective of the individuals committee being combined instead of saying, let's reframe it
Yeah.
and look at it as one committee that addresses.
So you
multiple
will not
different
have,
things.
I'm interjecting. So you will now have to choose, because it's now one committee, a new chair and a new co-chair. You're not going to have the 2 chairs from
Right.
the committee and 2 co-chairs.
Right.
The smart move would be to have one from one committee and one from the other be a chair and a co-chair.
Yeah.
Not with-
Which again brings us to the
Yeah.
point that I'm saying is that what we're looking at, everyone is looking
It
at it
makes
through the
sense.
lens of taking 2 committees
Yeah.
and like shoving them together. And that's not what it's about.
No.
It's about rethinking the committees and addressing different issues as one larger committee. That way, it's not an issue of, oh, you know, so-and-so loses a chairship and, you know, so-and-so, it's not about that. It's about looking at general concepts that we
I
can
understand,
address. as
but
one.
we know egos are,
Yeah.
you know, in this mix,
Yeah.
better off for worse.
Well, I mean, but you know,
But-
egos don't address community issues.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like at the end of the day, like at some point, something's gotta give. And, you know, it's been disheartening to me. And it's been, you know, disappointing to see just a general apathy, I think, to a lot of the committees.
So
And
I'm
so,
wondering.
Yeah.
About, I'm just trying to think this out, about the agendas. I know that perhaps the leadership can speak to the, not people on leadership committee, I'm talking about leadership, you guys. Say, you have to come up with an agenda or provide them with an agenda. Because so a lot of the people are just new at this, you know, and they say, you know, there is an issue going on with, I don't know, garbage cans. All right, you know, so I think maybe that should be an agenda. And at least you have an agenda, then you have to meet. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of inexperience there because they don't know what the issues are.
Who
I
who
got-
are our chairs?
Well, last week I got transportation canceled and somebody else canceled,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Transportation, education.
And housing.
Housing got moved to tomorrow.
Okay,
all right, right.
Moved to
Okay,
tomorrow.
good.
But I'm getting a lot of cancellations last minute. So
Oh.
what's happening is, oh, no one can meet, and Jeremy sends an email an hour before, no, oh, this one's canceled. We don't know how to manage that, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna manage.
That's not even, that,
It's not-
I think the combining of
we don't-
won't even solve that.
No, I know,
You know what I mean?
but
Well, like, it might be one cancellation as opposed to three different
Yeah.
cancellations.
Okay, yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. At leadership, I'm gonna move to combine housing and land use. We spoke about it.
Well, you know, that's actually, they're related to.
Right.
We talked about it already.
It is related.
So I
That
think
is totally.
that's something we're gonna pitch.
Okay.
But I mean, we need to start thinking about stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Maybe doing one combination or,
And
then see how it works and then address the issue again.
right,
Next, or 3
But-
months later.
but I do think,
Then that's wasting time.
I know,
yeah,
but
I do
That is.
think though that people have to kind of be worked on with the agendas to make, because I remember when way back, Jeremy would work with us and say, you have an agenda, and we go, you know, and then we'd think of something, because there's always issues.
Right.
You know, so there are always issues, you know,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, public safety right now is just Hazel. Ellie quit, and Dwayne and Katie.
She's doing public safety,
Yeah.
not housing. Oh, good, because she's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she's doing public safety, but she hasn't been able to be chosen as chair. Because they've not had quorum. I would say 6
So
months.
how does that work then?
Then
There's
there's
no
no
forum.
safety
Then
net.
there-
No, but stepping up there,
I'm
come
sure,
point.
yeah, she can.
Well, now, something in the bylaws can.
No, that's what we just.
That's
worked
what,
on.
that's how we did.
And
it.
that, what's gonna happen is the next meeting that we have, this is gonna be law.
Okay.
And then you can do it,
Yeah.
you know, but she, oh, so,
Oh, it's, okay, it's not more.
yeah, then you can just appoint her and be done with it. Okay, so that's good, so that's
I think
the,
the next one that we need to talk about is probably education. There's no chair. And
Right.
there's, it's vacant.
so education and,
Because,
Susie can't do it.
Susie can't do it, and the person before it isn't on.
Mary left.
Mary left the board.
all right,
Right.
I hate to,
Well, she moved
No, no,
on.
I tell you what, about this, you
Moved away.
you guys are bylaws, you're gonna talk about here.
Yeah.
okay, I'm thinking, don't yell at me.
I'm not yelling at you, yeah.
That would be more, that would be closer to health and,
Education.
Social service.
teachers. we're all
Yeah,
teachers.
I think,
Yeah.
So, you know.
I think that makes sense.
That
Yeah, I
wouldn't be
mean,
bad.
yeah, that
That
would
wouldn't
work.
be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
know?
know.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the names now, I'm like, so Susie, Pierre, how many?
Education
These are mostly
and
you.
services.
Right, it wouldn't
Health
matter.
and social services.
Right.
What do you
And
think?
then we'd have more quorum because
Oh,
we
yeah,
have more.
because you always meet.
Yeah.
Try.
Even if we don't have quorum, we meet.
No, I know, but you.
You know, but.
So Rich,
Let's
something
But
that
you
you have
see what it is?
for leadership.
Yeah.
Rich, the thing is, we're the older group, so we're more experienced.
Exactly.
No,
You're throwing, all these new people in. and
Uh-huh.
they don't know.
No,
Honestly,
Yeah.
it's not to put them down. They don't.
No,
It took me a couple of years, where I just sat quietly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
said, what's going on? I don't even know what they're talking about half the time.
Oh, look at that.
It's on economics. Oh, my God.
Oh.
We learned a lot. We really did a lot.
Uh-huh.
But the first year I sat there and I listened. And I learned, and then whatever.
All right, so
Okay, so
go
that's-
take Ed.
So, yeah. Leadership to
But
talk
we'll
about.
think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it.
So look, housing and land use, health, social services, education, boom.
I
Well-
I have a problem with housing and land use because
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
see,
don't-
the next guy.
Yeah.
but land use is basically involved with zoning.
Okay,
Housing is not.
but wouldn't you want to talk about some housing issues as
But it's
well?
housing.
Does it have to be the
Especially
zoning?
in City of Yes.
City of Yes was a zoning.
Right.
So you wouldn't want housing to be underneath land use?
No, I think they should, that it depends on the thing. It depends on the specific issue.
Of course.
Sandy,
And what you could have is.
just use tap water.
what we should do, but another possibility is having a procedure to combine committees for a specific issue and having that particular issue be a combined committee with a quorum, with a smaller quorum. Right, because for the two committees total.
Okay.
Now, you may, yes.
I'm telling you what the people want. And I'm telling
Which
you what,
people?
boy, people on your oral, Wendy.
That's fine, okay.
Because the thing is,
You know what?
so the issue.
If it doesn't work,
Yeah,
That's fine.
we could try it, and if it doesn't work,
if it's like bad, you know?
You know what, you listened to what I said, that's all, that's fine.
That's all.
Do it.
no, and we'll try it. If
It
it
may-
doesn't work,
may
it
not.
doesn't work.
It may not work,
Yeah,
but it may.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind coming to your meeting, so let's just make it a fun
He's
thing.
very knowledgeable.
Listen, at the risk of sounding, a little abrasive,
Okay.
how many times, in the last year has land use met?
Not many, right?
So if there were to be a combination of housing, how big of an effect would that actually have on the committee? Or on zoning issues, or us addressing zoning issues?
The bigger problem is gonna be getting the quorums.
No, the quorum is still, the minimum, and we only have, I think,
We'll think about that in order to get.
yeah, I think housing we only have 4, because Stacy Ann dropped. Yeah, we only have 4.
But how many do you need for?
So the land use has 3.
That's 7, so you would still only need
How many so far?
4 people.
Okay.
Yeah. But worth a conversation, for sure. Because that's a good point, right? The more people in the committee, the more you need for quorum. So folks would need to show up. But then again, if we're separate, yeah.
Now, I'll bring it up now. Why don't we adopt a bylaw that says the quorum is not necessarily 50%, the committee meetings?
Isn't that a
That's open
regulation?
meeting.
That's
Is it
open.
open?
It's the Committee on Open Government.
Oh.
Yeah, we have
that.
we've been on this.
We're like,
That's it, where is that?
I didn't know that.
it's the state. We have to follow, we kind of have a lot of, this is something that'll come up on item 7, but we have a lot of freedom. But only we have to follow the open meetings, but it's very broad,
Yes,
you know, but that's one of the things.
But that's-
The quorum is quorum.
The quorum is 50%?
yeah. Well, yeah. Let me, but we
I
went
mean,
on.
we're wrong, but I
Yeah.
do believe that's a state.
Ready?
And it's the state, not even the city. The city, I don't even think has guidelines. They follow the state guidelines.
Right.
So either way, I think item 5 is something that we could kind of discuss at leadership.
Okay, yeah,
We
but
have-
these are good ideas.
Yeah.
Economic development is good by itself, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We always meet. If we don't have anything to do, we don't
You
meet.
know me.
We don't just, it's,
Yeah,
you know,
same thing, okay.
yeah.
I mean, I think that's it.
And then you said you were gonna put sanitation?
Well, I think that's a bigger conversation. You
Yeah.
guys, I don't know. you
Because,
guys-
yeah,
That's a big combo.
Yeah.
see, years ago when we had someone on, people would call him directly if they had trouble with their garbage pickup, shoveling and whatever. And he had connections with,
That was, what's his fact?
yeah, I know who it is. He had, yeah,
Yeah.
but,
And that's from,
That's-
because
yeah.
many years of experience.
yeah, and knows what to do.
Yeah.
All right,
Do you want to go?
Sure.
Gallery, what do we have next?
we have the gallery session, but, I also had, we had several.
Gallery, and then we do tweak.
And then we can do,
We talk about the 36 hours and so.
Yeah.
and everything else.
Yeah.
All right, does anyone in the gallery have any questions? Anyone?
I have a quick question.
Yeah,
You have the gallery session.
Diana, so that we know who's talking when we're,
Oh, it's Diana Finch. You have the gallery session listed twice. So I'm a little confused about,
Oh, yeah.
oh,
Sorry, sorry about that.
sorry.
Actually, maybe we should do it, maybe that was a mistake and we should do it after we discuss the the tweak.
Yeah, that may.
Yeah.
We would do that. Okay.
This one's
Okay,
going to
thank you.
discussing what the gallery session is.
We will be, yes.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. That's
Right.
consistent.
That makes sense.
Okay,
Yes.
gallery session,
That's
not
that's
until
fine.
6,
It's
not
not,
7.
it's,
Okay.
it's something that
That
we're
was,
gonna talk
sorry
about.
about that. Okay,
Right, thanks,
so you wanna,
all right,
thank you.
thank you, Ken. All
Thank you, Ken.
right, thank you, Diana, but, so,
Next,
You-
next gallery.
all right,
All right, so we're gonna talk about the gallery session
Session.
and the 36
right.
hour thingy.
Okay.
We did some research and we have a very, I think we have some very good ideas.
Right, let me just explain, we have a lot of points of interest and things that we found out about with the gallery session, et cetera,
Uh-huh,
right?
right,
Gallery session is open to the public and everyone has the right to speak. We know that. We questioned about the agenda. All the people who have registered, do they have to be listed on the agenda?
they do not.
They do not.
They don't.
They don't. You could
So
just
We
have,
do that just to,
Okay.
Right.
the courtesy.
Okay, as
Right.
almost like a courtesy, but that is not a requirement.
it's not a
Okay.
requirement, and we will address some of the rationale or change because of that.
So I don't think listing the speakers on
The paper
the
agenda,
agenda has been an issue.
It's never, no.
No.
But the 36 hours.
but the
which
36 hours has
If
been.
that is a thing for the staff, if they have to, do the 36 hours, that's fine, it's work.
Right,
The
Dark.
issue-
I'm sorry?
what just happened?
I don't know. The issue is the same day. Okay?
Right.
The same day registration. So Jeremy and I, Jeremy's not
Thank
here,
you.
had a long conversation. Can I?
Yeah.
Okay. Had a long conversation about this and we will look and Ciara also some suggestions from other.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So you spoke to you about this?
Well, Kira and I and Jeremy and I
Okay.
spoke today.
So, all right, so we came up with, because my own personal opinion and a lot of people that I think since we've been doing the same days 40 years, it's not a good thing to eliminate that. It just not good optics and not good in any way. But anyway, that's my opinion.
Right, because
But
it's not like the freedom to express their view, you're curbing that freedom.
if we
which is-
never,
We're not, let's be clear.
I
We're
know.
not curbing anyone's freedom to express their view. We're
But that's
simply
what it-
asking that they sign up 36 hours before.
right.
Is that the hill I'm gonna die on? No.
Okay, so the thing is that the whole point was streamlining, right?
Mhm.
So we can streamline by limiting the number of people that are speaking. It would be a combination of the 36 hours and the same day. And it would be limited, some community boards do 5, or we do 30 minutes, but if we
Right.
limit it to 10 individuals, we don't have to do a time limit, so you make a choice.
Mhm.
Yeah, either 30 minutes, Jeremy thinks 30 minutes might be a little restrictive, but 10 people is a little
But then
more.
she has the right, I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
Uh-huh.
to say, okay, we have 30, but we have our extended 5 minutes. But we
Right.
can see no limit on how long gallery session has to be. There's nothing in we can.
In our bylaws,
Right, and there's nothing in the state or the city.
in the city charter.
Or
no.
from-
Only in the
from
city charter,
nothing.
the only requirement
Is
is
that we have
that,
public-
that they can hear us,
Some
see us.
community boards have a 30-minute time limit. And we could have that.
Yeah.
And we could say 30 minutes, 10 speakers, 8 speakers, et cetera, with the give and take.
So community board 8, they have
Gallery.
30-minute gallery, and then they have, some of them do it 36 hour, whatever it is, whatever. I think they actually don't have that because they don't list it
No.
on their agenda, but if they did, it would be 36 hours. And then if there's any other slots left, it goes to the same day people.
Right,
And they have, I think they're a little restricted, but we're liberal.
we
We
thought,
are, we are,
I think which is a good thing.
yeah.
Right.
I think it's-
even with the old timers, with Dawn and whatever, we
Right.
were very liberal.
And we still relatively
Yeah.
are. I mean, we still have gallery session at every committee.
Right.
Right.
Which a lot of
Which
community
a lot of
boards do
community-
not.
yes,
Right.
I know.
Right, a lot of
So,
Right. So you guys, we don't make the rules, you guys make the rules. Do you agree that we should allow a little more limited, but allow the same day, but because you want to streamline, limit it either by time or by people, so.
Or
what do
by
you want to do?
combining time and people.
Right.
And you could allow them, and I don't think it's gonna happen very, very often. Up until the time of the meeting, they could register.
It has to be
Because
before the
people
meeting.
register at the desk, not
Right.
everyone has a
Right.
computer or whatever. Sometimes, even if they call in, there may not be someone in the office to
Right.
pick up. So, but at 7 o'clock, that's the
That's
deadline.
it, done.
That's
Right.
it.
And that's the way we've done it for 40 years, so
Right.
it's okay.
Rich,
You
what
know.
are your thoughts?
Well, do me a favor, you guys vote on it. And then I think we
Well,
leadership.
we have to see,
We made you,
we're just throwing this out. So you tell us 30 minutes or people?
or a combination.
I think 30 minutes, for me personally.
No,
30 minutes, even if it's 2 minutes per person, that would allow for 15 people.
But you also.
I know, but still, even how often do we actually
we
have?
only have 4 or 5 people,
Yeah,
so.
You know, I think
Yeah.
limiting the gallery session to 30 minutes and then,
Do that.
if
We could do that.
you know, there's
The
people
RSS.
call on in the order in which they sign up.
right. Okay, now we have,
So
yes.
first the registration, then the people who show up, same day.
Now, does that mean that we're talking about 30 minutes, meaning 15 people maximum? What happens if some of the speakers, gallery speakers go over and we never go up and end it?
Yes.
Does that mean we're not going to observe the 30-minute limit?
30 minutes.
I mean, you're going to,
Well,
I don't know people that are
No.
already registered.
But we have always granted, if need be,
Yeah.
extra time,
You got
if needed.
People also have the option of submitting whatever they want to submit to us, you know, in writing. It doesn't necessarily have to be at the mic.
Well, then they could
You know.
submit it to a committee, which could then address the problem on their agendas.
I just.
You like that, don't you?
So,
I don't know if you want to.
well, I think we have to formulate a motion, and I don't have that legalese
Right.
skill.
So let's wait
So,
until we hear from the gallery, maybe?
okay, well, the thing is, we don't have to vote on it now because it wasn't really brought up. So what we can do is make a,
Can you want some, you want
well,
some?
he doesn't have to do it now because as long as you do it by the meeting in December, we can give it, we can grant it. It doesn't have to be voted on even in December. It'll be voted on in January. So we can present it, but at least we have.
An addendum
bones.
to the gallery
Yeah.
session, literally.
And then we have the bones. Okay, so I think that's, okay, great.
Which way do we want to
That's
do it? Do we do it 30 minutes or?
30 minutes and not mention people, just 30 minutes.
Right.
And, you have the option if something's going on urgent with urgency, you have the power to. Okay, so you're gonna help us do that. Okay. All right, so we're.
Did you want to get to Jeanette, who has her hand up? I don't know.
Jeanette?
If you want to.
Oh,
No, it's someone, do you want the bylaws that I have written? You want to see what they
do
want?
we have the bylaws?
I have the ones I have.
We have on them. I have, this is not the brand new one. This is,
Because I have the ones that were from October
this is
20.
January, this is April.
I have
Oh,
October.
I have January 2024.
You have January
The
20.
current one's on the website.
Yes.
Should be, yeah, okay.
But Jeremy was supposed to update one.
Yeah.
Jeremy was supposed to update the one where, you don't need to have, meetings every month that David. Oh, I don't have that one.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but I'm working on it.
Oh, hi, Jeremy.
So do you want to get to Jeanette's question or no?
Well,
Or-
sure, why not? Wanna,
All right, Jeanette?
Good evening.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Good evening.
Yes, say who you are.
Jeanette Wilson, Community Board 11 board member. Okay. I just wanted to comment on a few things. I would love to see us as a board move forward and make progress and be more structured. I think a 30-minute time limit for the gallery is appropriate. And I think that doesn't necessarily mean 15 speakers, because sometimes there is feedback or questions. But I think that the 30-minute timeline, if we implement it, should be firm. I also, although I am a fan of tradition, I do not believe that just because something has happened for any number of years, that means that it should continue to happen. I think that you pretty much know whether or not you want to speak at the community board or not. And I do not think it's unreasonable to have a 36-hour time limit. I had originally, in a former meeting, stated that not everyone is computer savvy, and perhaps it makes sense to have some sort of leeway the day of. But I think that when we get into too many exceptions, what happens is what has happened in too many of our meetings, is things just get very unstructured and disorganized.
Yep.
So I am stating that I am very much in favor of a 30-minute timeline, and I am also supportive of a 36-hour limit for people to register to speak. Thank you for allowing me the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, we can also send a survey out and see like what the board,
No.
Well,
we can send out a survey.
You could.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, so, what's next?
yeah, okay.
Okay, other suggestions and tweaks, I think that's,
Actually, I have one.
you have one, okay,
Okay.
great.
As far as I can tell from the bylaws, there's no way to remove a committee chair at this point.
To remove
remove?
committee chair, like if there's, they don't show up or whatever reason.
There's no way
They're
to
absent.
remove a committee chair.
Then that,
If that's in the Bible, if that's in the.
that's
bylaws.
not in the.
Not in the bylaws.
It's not in, so if they're not doing their due diligence,
Whatever it is, there's no way to remove a committee chair in the bylaws. It used to be, the previous one was where the board chair appointed and removed. That's fine. We now have elected, but we don't have a procedure to remove committee chairs as we have with the other officers. My suggestion is basically to adopt that same procedure for the committee chairs,
Yeah,
or a similar procedure.
that makes sense.
So we could just put committee chairs in that paragraph.
I'm not sure if we could.
I don't know, you have to look, but I'm saying that would be an easy fix.
you hear what he's saying, Cynthia?
Yes.
So removal,
Yeah,
so.
if someone isn't doing their job,
The committee is basically would have this, it would be in the same, I'm not sure how to word it, but I have to take a look at it. But there should be a procedure to remove committee chairs by the committee.
Removal, right here. Here we
but
go.
it has to be for
that it?
what
Well,
reason?
yeah, it's about committees. Let's
It
bring
says
the
here,
language
Yeah.
for committees.
We just asked the chairperson.
Oh, he's right.
Go back up.
Hold on, because here we have language on co-chairperson, except for the committee members shall be appointed by and serve at the pleasure of the chairperson. Committee members vote to elect their own committee officers, minus the co-chair who's selected by the chair of each respective committee.
But what he's saying is, but won't we have to list reasons for removing the chair, Ken?
Well, it,
I don't know, say, we could basically adopt some language for the officers and put it in here.
Yeah.
Having done it, but that would be
that's
my
a very
suggestion.
good,
Yeah,
good
that is a
idea.
good idea.
very good idea.
So committee members shall be appointed by and serve at the pleasure of the board chair.
In theory, the board chair could theoretically,
Correct.
So wait, that might be the answer. We don't have to have that whole rigmarole.
So
You
then-
can just say committee members shall be appointed and serve at the pleasure. Committee members
Of the
elect,
chair, of the.
So that-
The board.
the committee members, that includes the chair and the co-chair. So you have the power to do that. So you could do that.
Well, the co-chair is selected by the chair
Right.
of the committee.
But you have the.
But
power-
that's a commit, that's, you have the power, so you can do it.
Right.
You really can do it. So you're
You
right.
could remove you could theoretically remove the chair from the
Yeah.
committee. Which may or may not remove that person as chair of the committee.
Well, if she's,
Well,
if
if they're
the
removed
committee
from the committee,
members,
then they can't chair the committee.
Does it say that?
No, but then you would assume that the co-chair would then take over as the chair, and you would then need a
Doesn't-
replacement
my question
for,
Doesn't say that.
but you
No.
would need a replacement then for the co-chair. The co-chair who now becomes the chair would have to now,
The co-chair would not necessarily become the chair because the chair would be elected.
well,
You have to have something, all I'm saying is that you don't have that, you don't
Alright,
have
so
that
then-
procedure now.
so
You,
it
we
has to
could
be
have.
addressed.
That's a
And it
discussion.
could be addressed in section 2. It can be addressed in section 2.
Okay.
But we have the.
you should get rid of
Huh?
that information.
Oh, no, this is just that, it's just. putting the,
Good point, Ken.
Yeah.
That's why we love the legal mind.
Yeah, okay, that would-
Section 3 on new members, this 90-day introductory period, the survey about the committee purposes and the certificate being, that's never happened.
no.
You have never done it. This was your idea.
No, this wasn't mine.
Whose idea was that?
This came, I believe it was Bernadette, the prior chair,
Okay.
and it hasn't been done.
No, I think it's kind of burdensome,
I
For you?
agree,
so I think
And-
perhaps
you know,
just the chair, board chair will circulate a survey which asks new members to rank their top 3 committee members' preferences, and that's probably the only thing. that should be- That
yeah,
should be good,
Yeah.
because,
The other one was accessory.
but the other stuff, yeah, we can
Oh,
take that.
Yeah, that might have to be tweaked in or
Yeah.
out if we want.
yeah. Because I know that ended up being an issue with a prior board member, with the prior chair, where, you know, they were reminded of the 90-day,
I
and
remember
the
that.
person was like, well, what's gonna happen, you know? It felt like a threat, or, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I just think
so-
the language is a little,
Alright.
Yeah, I remember.
So it just, be, the survey and,
yeah,
because, you know, the borough president has education as far as, you know, what the roles are, so that
Yeah.
they take over that, you know?
Yeah.
They do that. We just make sure they do that, and then the only thing they have to do is figure out what committee, and then it's like when we started, we sit there and we watch and we see, you know, watch and see.
Yeah.
Till we learn, you know, so. So, okay, so that would be another thing that we would have to bring up at the next.
Oh, someone said that it must have been Naomi's.
Was that?
Oh,
that
it
was,
wasn't Bernadette. It must have been
Oh, it's
Naomi.
Naomi's, okay.
yeah.
It's ambitious, but not
Yeah.
practical. So. Okay, so, are we done with tweaks?
Yeah, right, because we, you know, yeah, we were gonna talk about the 30-minute or the speakers.
So we
We do
just
that.
have to do the motions on 9, but we already
Right.
did the motions.
Everyone has.
Oh, well.
Right.
All right, so do I stop sharing the screen then?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
So I think we got it, but you know, I,
Is
Yeah.
there anybody else that wants to be in the gallery? Perhaps
Right.
not, perhaps
And-
yes.
and are we still, my other question is, are we still going to place on the agenda that is posted, you know,
Oh,
full meeting?
that's
Are
the
we
other
going to
tweak.
put
That's the
the
other
P,
thing.
yeah,
Oh,
About
the list.
the elected,
Yeah, elected,
the
yeah.
electeds, do you want to move it to the front? That wouldn't be in the bylaws. That would just
No,
be something.
I think
Yeah.
I just,
we do.
we could talk about
Could
it.
just
Just an
do,
organization thing, right?
yeah.
Yeah, but the rabbi was right. He goes, if the regular council member or the senator or whatever is there, give them the right to speak right away, not at the end. If it's their reps, they could either have handwritten or informational sheets that they could just hand out and save time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
he
yeah.
mentioned a time limit.
Yeah, it's 5 minutes for
minutes.
the actual elected and then it's 2 minutes for their reps.
So
Right.
whoever's there.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Normally, they haven't been coming. I
That's
mean,
why.
Maybe once.
Yeah.
Or they're there, but then they just
They just
Because they
fall
have to
asleep
go.
or they disappear.
Right, because
I
they
have,
do.
I have a question about that, because like, not this past meeting, but the meeting before was close to election day. And we did have an elected official that came, and he wasn't even from our district. And my problem was, he came and yes, by right, he was allowed to speak, but he was telling people about the, the questions on the back of the ballot, to vote yes or vote no, or whatever.
that's election.
No, he's from our district.
He is,
He has a
but he
little
shouldn't have been,
No,
he should not have been allowed.
I don't think he
to tell us.
realized it, but we
Yeah,
should
I don't
probably.
even think
I don't know if it's a young,
We
We
didn't,
haven't said something.
yeah, we didn't know what he was gonna say until he was up there.
right, how do you control that?
Now you're saying,
You're right, but that was like, you know what, it's not fair, because people that were listening in that really did not know about it, now were influenced by him. So that to me was like electioneering.
that's against
Yeah.
our bylaws.
Yes, it's against
I can't.
Yeah, he slipped one under the radar.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it as electioneering. That was just him saying his opinion. Yeah.
Would you sort about for a candidate, not about a ballot proposal like that?
But that's.
Right, but
That's,
he shouldn't have been telling people
That's-
what to do, that's
No,
not
he
their right.
just said.
Well, he said,
that there are five-
I voted yes. You guys do your research and vote your conscience or whatever his language was.
Right, but it's a proposal, they call the proposals.
It's-
Yeah, there were 5 proposals. or
Yeah,
6.
yeah.
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 But you had to really read them to fully
Yes.
understand, especially proposal 1, but that's another story. Okay, so yes, we kind of addressed all that I had written down, that I was
so what
able
if
to go
we
to sleep.
said something, we were talking about the election and there was something else. What was the other thing?
The gallery session, are we gonna list the people, the speakers that have registered 36
Well,
hours
they-
in advance on the agenda that
They want
Jeremy-
to do it, so they want to.
I think it makes it easier later on in terms of minutes also,
Yeah.
because if you
Just
just.
Hazel is scrambling a lot.
Yeah,
She's always there like, who's
Yeah.
talking? I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we have to then maybe make a point of telling, like I said to Diana, mention, this is so-and-so speaking, or my name is.
Yeah, it's tough because people are talking
Yeah,
fast and,
Yeah.
But
They wanna
just
get that
give
2
them
minutes.
that, give them that.
Yeah, exactly.
But, my thing is, when we put those names and we're going back on the agenda, half the time they don't show up and it's like meaningless,
Yeah.
So that's another thing. We don't
Yeah.
really have to have it on there, but if you want it on there,
I like it on there.
you'll like it on there.
Yeah.
Those are 36 hours in advance if we're putting on.
Right, but you're giving
Right.
everyone else the option up to 7 o'clock.
Right.
At the
The day
meeting,
of.
Yeah, the day of, which is good.
which is, I
I
think,
think that's
fair
great.
and equitable.
I don't know, they have their hands.
Someone has their hand up.
Harriet, is that you?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's me. So if I may clarify, do you guys know why the staff, at least I prefer it this way?
Which way?
Having the names on the agenda versus
I
not.
know you do.
Yeah,
Do you know
well,
why?
why? Yeah, tell me why.
Because I'm of the opinion that there should be no surprises at the full board meeting. That as much advance notice as the board can receive about who's coming to present before them, the better position we are as a board. And then additionally, Cynthia brought up a really good idea about, it does help. I mean, it does help Harriet too, because the agenda is the template for the minutes that I send her once the meeting is over. But at the same time, you want to know who's speaking. It's easier to read something while they're talking versus talking to your neighbor and having a sidebar.
Well. Well, right, well,
Okay.
we've been doing the 36 hours, so,
So we'll continue with the 36,
and then we
but
do
we
it
will allow
the same day.
all of other speakers up till 7 o'clock on day of. So they would have to come either into the office before or be at the meeting early on the day so that they can register before 7.
And it's never been a problem. We always have
Yeah,
filling out you know, they come in early, they seem to know.
Right.
So, all right.
People can call in too if
They
they
can
have a
call
real
in.
technical.
Yeah,
There is one sentence that I think we should consider,
where are we looking?
just under public hearings. Something to think about, I can email you
Okay,
the board shall have the power to adopt additional rules with regard to the conduct of any such hearing. I think that,
well, that's what we're doing now.
yes, but it also gives us a little bit of cover in the sense of, you know, I don't know, moving the electeds to the start of the meeting versus the end of the meeting, and then people
So we
say,
have-
oh my God, this is.
Today, we have the freedom to do, you know, whatever, you know.
We're just mixing up. What we're doing is just mixing up a meeting, but it's still addressing everything that
Right.
we normally have.
No, I'm just saying that I think that that little sentence should be in our bylaws,
Okay, so, okay,
under the conduct
Okay.
of public hearing,
okay.
you know, I'll email it.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So that would be, so there are gonna be 3 proposals for next time. It's
It looks
gonna
like
be the 36-hour, 30-minute thing. What's the other one? The 30-minute thing and the
Removal,
the removal of committee chairs. And the third one is the sentence that you want to put in regarding housekeeping, basically.
right. So,
Okay.
and those could also be listed on the agendas that Jeremy will be producing for the day of the meeting.
Wait, so it's 4A, that's on the agenda, right? 4B.
4A and 4B are going to be voted on.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The other 3 is going to be a proposal that you,
So 30
Cynthia,
minutes.
have to state.
Okay.
Okay,
And new traffic.
So that means that we have to have,
okay.
And
Ken, we have to have some kind of English for that first one. The second one, I think. I mean, we could do that now if you want, or, we could talk to each other on the phone or whatever.
yeah, well, that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, I know, that's what we're doing.
Oh, it's like,
Shall be 30 minutes, shall be 30 minutes in length. Every speaker shall have 2 minutes. Shall have 2 minutes to speak, and how much of response, 2 minutes to speak with possible 2-minute response time.
Right, and quite, and,
You put 2 minutes.
and we have the question, we have the question, we
Question.
have 4 board members can do questions.
Right.
2 minutes, 2 minutes Q&A.
if need be, because sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, that we've had.
2 minutes. We're not gonna get this on this meeting, we're gonna get this for the next meeting.
Right.
Right,
2
Oh,
minutes, 2
but wait, no, Sue, you did the oh,
It's
so
gonna-
that's right, So we're not gonna, it's for it's for January that we're gonna
but we're
vote on.
proposing everything for
But
this
we
one,
have to have
the right
at
on the
least
agenda.
at least to have the English, you know? See, Rich, that's why we invited you.
But the 30-minute thing, I think, and you know what? It may not even be 30 minutes, because you may not get 10 people or 15 people or whatever.
It may
I
not
mean,
at
how
all.
often?
30 minutes, 2 minutes each.
maximum.
Maximum, and
Right.
it doesn't mean that we're gonna get it, you know, we're gonna use it.
So, anyway, so I guess next is the gallery section, right?
All right, now gallery session. Well, we had Jeanette speaking, and I'm glad someone agreed with the 30-minute.
Mhm.
Okay.
Diana?
Diana, did you have your hand raised?
I did. Thanks a lot. So just 3 things. One on the gallery session, I thought that the original
We don't have that.
problem that prompted all the discussion of the gallery session was instances where several people have signed up to speak all on the same topic and all essentially saying the same thing, and therefore taking a lot of time. And I don't know if the changes deal with that. I mean, it's kind of hard to deal with, but I just want to point out that that was the original concern.
Right. but
That
what
people
we're
just
saying
trying to
now
influence-
Is that
votes and events and things by having a large number of people speak to them.
Right, but if we
So
have
that
a
was
30-minute
one
deadline,
point.
you know, that
And
means
then
that
I
they
also
might
wondered,
combine it. You know, they might combine.
They might or they may
They
not.
might realize, but they may realize that 30 minutes is not gonna cut it. If you're gonna have 5 or 6 people just saying the same thing, they know they have the 30 minutes. So we can advise people, if you have the same thing, coordinate your stuff and have one. We've done that before. And
Yeah.
like we've
Yes.
done that before when we, in that, listen,
You're relying
especially-
on the good,
well,
Graces or
not
what?
grace.
No, that's not the word.
The goodness on people, on the good consciousness of people.
right, but
Yeah.
then we have the 30 minutes, so.
Right,
Yeah, but then it cuts off everybody else who may not.
You got a number of people that say, oh, we want to monopolize it,
Mhm.
we're gonna be there, and we signed up first.
Well, I mean, not to interrupt, sorry. But if that happens, then we'll be right back here switching the rule up again. I mean, that's the problem. We can change this when the.
Right.
If we move-
Doing it with conscience.
Right, but we also see,
Yeah.
like, they have to write what the.
Okay.
it's on, okay? So then we could have someone say, listen, you guys are 5, we're talking about the same thing. And we could just appeal to their better nature and there'd be like 5 people all in the same thing. And maybe we could appeal to their better nature.
And maybe when they fill out the sheet and Cynthia gets the sheets, she sees that there are 3
That's
people
what I'm
talking about the same, and she goes,
Yeah.
look, we have 3 people on the same thing. Do you, and let them know, why don't you get together? Say what you want to say as a group, and then we'll,
I mean, we
we
can
don't
just
need-
deal with it as it happens.
happens
It
and.
doesn't happen that often,
Yeah,
you know?
that was the one with the parks and the bike lane, that was the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that took up, that was really the only one.
I think Diana still.
But I think Jeremy
Yeah.
had to
Well,
say.
yeah,
piece.
so Diana, let Diana finish.
Yeah.
Finish.
Diana, you want to finish or you have more to
okay,
say?
thanks. Yeah, I
Oh.
think you really should deal with it because there are going to be other issues that are going to come up where there are going to be 2 sides to a question and a lot of people wanting to talk about it and people feeling passionately and feeling that if they have a lot of people speaking to their issue, they'll be
Something.
able to influence the board. So, and then I wondered if you wanted to consider the officer removal procedure since it doesn't have any time limits in it and it, it's probably rarely going to happen, but when it did this past year for the first time, it
Oh,
took
Well, we're
like
talking
almost
about
6
committee
months to
chair.
deal with
We're
it.
talking about,
That was just a
Chair.
suggestion
We're
for,
just talking about committee chairs,
No,
not.
no,
about
I
anything
think I
else.
know what she's talking about. She's talking about like, with the
the
investigation.
demotion of officers.
Had some language, as well, some suggested edits for like the whole process for the investigative committee. Did you ever receive that from him or no?
And then I had one more point
Okay,
on the issue of combining committees. To look at the committees that have not met, that have not been able to come up with reasons to meet, and those would be the committees to combine. And also in Article 4, Section 2, on the executive board, it says the executive board shall oversee committee activity. So I think that would give the executive board the
the power.
mandate to oversee committees and address, committees that aren't meeting because they don't have
I think
anything to
two-
meet about.
2 parts are implied, but we want to make it specific. There is another part of the bylaws that says that that the chair has, is in charge of the committees. So, and is serving at the pleasure of the committees. So that would give that, but it's not specific as far as removal. So I think we just have to be more specific, even though she has, there is a
right,
process.
because
There is a process.
they're being seated at her pleasure or his
Right.
pleasure.
Right. And the other one was the executive board, what you mentioned, Diana. So there are two places in that we can remove them, but it just not specifically said, it's sort of just implied. So if it just need to be tweaked a little.
All right, now we have Roxanne and we had Jeremy first.
Jeremy was first, I think.
Jeremy, you were first. Jeremy?
All right, yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harriet's still here too, if she wants to chime in.
Harry.
Oh, okay.
So while if you do enact, the board does enact the 36-hour registration requirement, it won't necessarily rectify the issue Diana brought up about multiple groups, but it will go a long way to resolving the issue, or it has the potential to go a long way to resolving the issue, because again, the idea of 36 hours is that we have a full business day to hash whatever we need to out the day before the meeting, and if it has to carry into the next day. But either way, the idea is not to do it at the meeting where it's very difficult to get things done right before the start of the meeting. It's in my experience, like for example, when John Frado was district manager, and I'd always try to talk to him before the meeting, until I became district manager, did I realize how big of a mistake that is for people to constantly make. Because especially when John was DN and up until the pandemic and we started doing things more remotely, even now, I will still lug that equipment and I got a lot to do. I got a lot to set up. I don't got time to be trying to hash out the gallery. Now, yes, the Sergeant at Arms should be doing that, but, or should do that for the chairperson, but it doesn't always work out that way.
Can do that. Someone else doesn't.
They can, but it's,
Chris,
again, if we have a day before to actually work it out, the better we are. And no, I did not send that document yet, Cynthia, but I do have it in front of me. And so when you're ready, I don't know if you touched upon everything on the agenda yet. I can go through some of the points that you and I had discussed. Last time I updated this was in September, but I do have some of the things that we had discussed for improving the bylaws.
Yeah, well, we did a lot of talking, so I think we touched on your points.
We can come back to
What
that.
else? More?
there's a couple more things. Okay.
Where's Harriet?
Harriet?
Harriet wanted to speak? Or
Yeah,
no?
also allowing 4 questions for each gallery speaker is going to take up your 30 minutes very
Oh, we
quickly.
could do two. We could do two.
Well, you're 2 minutes talking and then 2-minute rebuttal plus the 4-minute question, 4 questions. It's that's a good 6
Well, where
minutes.
did 2-minute rebuttals come from?
You said, yeah, because you usually give people time to rebuttal when someone talks, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was part of the 4 questions.
I don't. You guys say here.
I don't know. I thought, after someone made their spiel, someone asked a question. I have a
Well,
question.
that's what she said. But it's not part of the 4.
Yes.
We currently don't time limit
Different-
questions. that are
different-
responses.
It could be 4 different people saying 4 different questions, and then there's 2 minutes each for each of the questions.
Jeremy just said something
What's
about
that?
that.
Jeremy?
All right. We currently don't time limit questions, the time for the questions or the responses.
So now, sorry to interrupt again, but I think what the spirit of this conversation is that everything is going to be within 30 minutes, is my assumption.
Right.
Yes.
Everybody who can't speak is gonna be cut off.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that I believe the spirit is 30 minutes all in.
But if the first person has the 4 questions and takes up half the time, then those other people don't get a chance. That's why I'm saying to perhaps thinking of
About
people rather than
I think
time
that
limit.
makes sense.
So it would be 10 people and it would be, and it would be, or 8 people, or
To me,
8 or 7, whatever,
if
you
you
know?
got 16 minutes and then you have another, 14 minutes to work with. So with 8 speakers, allow the first 8 speakers who get in.
No matter how we do it, we're wrong.
You're right.
I'll have to think on that.
All right, think on that.
Yeah.
Right.
We do it, everybody can say, well, I got cut off, I wasn't there.
Right.
I was not speaking.
There's no happy medium.
Yeah, there was no option.
All right, Rox,
But I know that the, community board 8, I think, does 5 people, which I think is tiny, but that seems to work for them. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems that using people rather than a time limit, you know?
all
I
right,
think they do
Roxanne.
both. I think they have
They have
30
both.
minutes. Yep.
30 minutes and 8 people.
Yeah.
Oh, that might work.
Well, that's why I said 8. I kept saying 8
Yeah, I was, yeah,
when I was talking to you. But,
okay.
all right, Roxanne?
Yes,
Roxanne,
just wondering, do you know that this meeting is not being live streamed?
we know that it's being
Okay.
recorded and it will be live streamed tomorrow.
Is there a reason why it's not being,
Tomorrow, something, there was a glitch.
it seems to be constantly there's a glitch, but okay. Secondly, is 36-hour registration requirement for in-person full board gallery sessions going to be voted on tonight, I mean?
Oh, we're not
No.
voting on it, no.
Oh, because it's not on the agenda.
It's 36 hours for people who do it in advance, and then same day,
Up
we're
to-
still trying to figure out, but we're gonna do same day, are we gonna limit the number of people or the time? And the whole thing is to streamline the meeting. So we're still offering people, they don't have, in person, they don't have to do 36 hours in advance.
All right.
We took
All right.
that.
Okay, so then we're going to 30-minute limit, but that's not even on your agenda. That was going to be voted on. No, was that discussed at the last?
We're
Oh, Jeremy.
trying to figure it out, that's why. We're, this is a proposal.
So that
If gallery
for the
section
next
is on there,
for the-
it's a gallery
next-
section.
Public input, speakers have initial 2 minutes or whatever. If
Yeah,
you're-
on number 6 is gallery session,
And
and that's,
number 8, but that's.
And
oh,
number-
okay, so that would be voted. So that would be
All right.
voted on tonight.
yeah. Hmm?
No,
What's
but
That would be
No.
voted.
Next month.
Yeah, January.
What exactly would be voted tonight? I'm sorry.
I think there's 4A and B.
Yeah,
Right.
every
Oh,
fiscal
okay.
year and Article 4.
Right,
We
and
were,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
listen-
I apologize because since this meeting was online.
it's okay.
No problem.
Okay, so I won't discuss. Oh, so my only input then is that you would think a community board would have an open door policy. And yes, you can change the bylaws next year to require in-person pre-registration. And despite what community has stated, what you saw on the unofficial CP11 page, where people were upset about it because it'll be inconvenience for those who don't have the access to internet or know
We're
how
not
to do
doing
so.
that. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, I mentioned that since I was
Well, yeah.
so I'm assuming at the full board gallery session, if I do attend in person, there will be gallery slips provided.
Yes,
For
Yeah.
sure.
up
Yeah.
to 7
Because last
Yeah, up to
Because,
7 o'clock.
because last month there wasn't, so that's
All
why I
right,
brought that up.
that's what we're- but now we'll make sure.
No
All
problem.
right, so
No
I'm making sure. So
Mhm.
then the second point I'd like to bring up is this issue with the number of people that bothers a few people for some reason. First of all, I mean, last month, the meeting started over 20 minutes late because it was the committee board 11 that didn't start the meeting on time because of, I don't know why. It said
technical
someone right.
difficulty.
Yeah, that seems to be constantly the issue, not the first time.
Okay.
And if you want to make the meetings become more efficient, I think that should be looked into internally, why you tend to continue to have technical issues. Whether you need someone with new equipment or you need someone who knows how to handle technical stuff, I'm not sure, but that should be looked into because that's a constant issue why you actually have people, electeds and non-electeds and public gallery members sitting, waiting over 20 minutes for the meeting to start. So to blame somehow for some reason, and also many times in the past, not recently, but in the past, you know, quite well, meetings will run to 11 because of board members, because they have going back and forth with each other, or they have to go into an oracle about something non-essential.
Mhm.
So that's again, but so for some reason, I think what's the real purpose behind it is because certain board members want to do what they want to do, knowing that the community is not in support of it, So they don't want the community to come out in numbers to show them that this is we are the majority, not me, but we are the majority in this case. So I think they're trying to stifle any anyone that may have a difference of opinion or community so they can do what they want. So I think that's unfair because in the city council, in the city of Yes, they stayed there almost 12 hours straight listening to people, whether they were for or against the city of Yes. And not once did they say, oh, you're all saying the same thing. They were waiting. They were looking at the majority of concerns were similar. And that was the point of having so many people attend, because you need to hear not just one person who only comes by herself or himself all the time, but to hear the whole community as representative of how many people come out to see how important this issue is to them and what the concerns. So if one person comes to one issue, maybe it's not that important to the community. It's not something they really want to address. But if you see more than one, I mean, the people doesn't have a big turnout anyhow. The majority, the biggest turnout we have is, besides just public hearing, is 10 or 15 people. Times that by 2, that's half hour. I mean, you make it seem like you have droves of people coming to the board, and you have to wait hours of people listening to people, and that's not the case. But to have this like animosity towards organization when someone actually is out there, not coming by herself or himself, but actually brings community people from her own community, not outside the community, from City Island. Maybe you restrict people who do not live within the confines of Community Board 11 to limit them from speaking, but people who actually live in this community and they take the time to come, sometimes the first time, you actually disempowering people from attending community boards, whether it's once in a lifetime, because people who come for the first time, they came to the board for the first time, not because they felt like coming to your board. They came because you had something on the agenda that was of interest to them. And that's why they came up for the first time. So if you want to start limiting the number of people, limiting the number of people per topic, it's just going to really be have a negative impact on community input, and even trying to stop it from organizing, even though we could organize around the community board 11 to show that they're doing something that the community does not like. It still reflects poorly on you. It seems like you don't want anyone who has different opinions, or anyone who wants to not influence the board, but to voice their concerns to the board. And to say it takes a long time on the agenda, you don't have to post the names of the people who are speaking. And lastly, again, the most you get is 10, and the good day, I'm talking about on the very good day, the most you will ever get is 10, 12 people. And you can't handle 10, 12 people registration. You know, like, again, you have community boards actually have 50, 40 people or 10. You have other public governmental bodies holding meetings where 100 people are attending, and they able to sign in at time, and they're not limited because they already had the first 10 persons speak, or
Okay,
minutes already
Roxanne, I'm
passed.
sorry, I'm gonna have to cut you
Okay,
off.
I'm wrapping up because you didn't tell the other person to wrap up. I'll wrap up right now.
The other person didn't go on, this
All right, so
long. I
that's
mean,
because
we've given
like
you an
you said,
extended courtesy to
All
let you
right,
speak. So, thank you,
so I'm
though.
going to close. Okay, so can I finish my sentence, my last sentence, or?
Sure.
So that's what I'm asking you to do. Whether you do whatever you want, as you've been doing lately, but it's really good. Look at the perception the community will have of you, regardless of what your intentions are. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
I
you.
just want to make a statement, and it's not,
Yeah.
we're not gonna know back and forth. If there's an urgent issue, that's also a reason to have a public hearing.
Right,
Gallery session is not a public hearing.
Yeah.
right,
Public hearing is where you hear like 100 people,
right,
but, and then we have public hearings, you
Yeah.
know, when there's an urgent issue.
right.
Well, I also think that we need to be clear that, once again, I'm going to reiterate the same point I made before, is that we have committees that when they meet, the committees do allow for public input at every committee meeting, which is more than other community boards do.
Right.
We still are allowing or engaging with the community with the gallery session. We're not saying people cannot come and speak. We're just trying to keep some sort of flow so that we don't end up having a 12-hour meeting, or,
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
Right, like Maria came to tonight, because I invited her, because she came, did a 2-minute thing, and I said, if you needed more time, come to the our community health meeting, which she did.
Yeah.
And
She gave a good 15 minutes
And she had all the time she needed. And the same thing with Echo.
Okay.
And I think, we got a lot accomplished from the two of them. All right.
All right, I
So-
think.
That-
But just one correction, we don't have 12-hour meetings, and secondly,
Roxanne,
you're limited to 2 minutes anyhow, you don't allow people to speak in committees either,
Interrupt, please.
and nothing gets
Mr.
translated to the full
Press?
board.
Bob?
1 second, let me mute myself.
Yeah, I just got one question. I see 5 people at the table, and when I looked online, there were only 3 people on the committee. Have more, I should say 6. I forgot about you, Madam Chair.
One person is just sitting.
And have 2 people been added to the committee?
No,
Oh,
no.
Okay, that's only my question. That's it. Thank you. Good night.
Okay. All right. Okay, I
Okay.
think, we already did our motions, right? So
Any
old business?
No, I
We
think
did old
we
business,
did a
new
lot of old
business, middle
business.
business. Was there something else? Cynthia,
Yes,
was there?
Jeremy
we
actually.
did the old business with the addendum on the back about, 2022 approval amendment. Standing committee
Right.
shall meet only when they have business to
Right, well,
conduct. or
that's
amend
already,
committee.
we already
Right.
voted on that.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what we
So-
voted on. So that's the
So,
old business,
right.
and it should be in the new bylaws.
So Cynthia, you mentioned that there was some other things that you wanted to.
Yeah, Jeremy had made some, he had put together a document with some clarifications on the removal process.
So you want me, so there's a
Yeah.
lot of tweaks too. I took the bylaws, the last bylaws, January 2024, and I made track changes. So similar to the agenda, you see stuff that's red is the suggestion. So we already covered cutting the 90-day introductory period, I think, right?
We talked about that, yeah.
So one other suggestion that Cynthia and I thought of, page 4, board officers are eligible for appointment as chair or co-chair of a standing or ad hoc committees. Although, and then we thought putting in parentheses, although such practice is discouraged. Obviously, with housing right now, maybe public safety in a bit of a bind for leadership, but those are the exceptions, I would say. Not the general rule, if that makes sense. Let's see. Okay, so then the removal thing that Cynthia was talking about. So this is about cleaning up the investigative committee. Should it ever be resurrected? Hopefully never again. So section 8B, this is page, 5 is it? I don't know if anybody has a copy of the bylaws.
I'm looking.
Yeah, so page 8.
Following the adoption of such a resolution, the highest ranking officer.
Yeah. So within 15 days following the adoption of such a resolution is the first suggestion. And then cutting and report to the board. At the end of that section, instead, say the name of the committee shall be the investigative committee, right? Because that was an issue that Veronica and I had, what should it be called, the removal committee? No, that doesn't sound right. So investigative committee shall hold its first meeting within 30 days following the formation. I mean, I can continue to read this, or I can just send this to you guys.
Yes, please send it.
Please send it.
I don't want to waste more of your time and mine.
Yeah, please send it.
Oh, no,
You
that's
have
next.
it. Yeah, right, yeah.
It would also be nice if we had printed copies of the whole
You can,
bylaws. Again, I need
Oh,
more
we need
updated.
the
An
updated one.
updated
Well, I have
I had,
January 2024. That's the latest I have.
I had October.
yeah, that's minus the one thing that David pointed out. But once that's updated, that would be that's the,
Okay, so.
minus that, that's the most up-to-date thing Joanne has.
Oh, I.
And you can print right now from the computer right there to the Xerox. If you want to make copies right now before you leave, or when Cynthia gets back.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, all right.
You're welcome.
We have to sit down and do all this. but not today.
Not tonight.
Tonight.
You wanna-
Well, we can also, I can also just update this document. Well,
Okay.
or maybe I keep it separate, but just consult me, however you want me to do it,
Okay,
or help you.
all right. Well, maybe if you send us, you have a document, Cynthia, about all the changes?
Yeah.
So then so we could use that.
So send us that document.
Yeah, that's the one that Jared, yeah.
Okay, that's
Goes
fine.
to Ken,
All right.
Joanne,
three of
and
us.
Sandy,
Yeah,
I'll do
and
it
then we
tomorrow.
can.
and Cynthia, and maybe Rich.
Sure.
All right. I like to adjourn the meeting.
On second,
No business, no new
but
business.
no new business.
Okay.
And
Meeting.
meeting adjourned at 9:08, is it 9:08?
9:09.
9:09, yeah.
I don't know.
An analog. Thank you. All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.